This is from Joel Hernandez. Shout out to Joel. We appreciate you and the support. So Joel says this, different topic, but if we can cut the drops from 41 to maybe 20, what's the ceiling for our wide receivers? I personally think, man, they could be best in the league.
Sure.
Like, in terms of a group, they are very talented. Deontay Johnson, we talked about him, and we think that he could be an up-and-coming star if he's more consistent. The big part of his consistency is the drops, right? We got to see better or less drops and just more consistency from that part of his game. And I also think mentally for him, just not getting down on himself after a bad play. If he can get that part of his game corrected, man, I think that he would probably be the best of the group. I love Claypool's game, but Claypool's game is going to be more dictated on quarterbacks being able to get him the ball because how he stretches it downfield, unless you're giving him the reverse, which I don't want to see another jet sweep with Chase Claypool. Now that I got that off my chest, I love his game too, but I do think that it's going to be more dependent on who can stretch the field and things like that. Whereas Deontay, we know he can go deep, but he also, the short to intermediate and the way that you get him the ball early on, he's one of those guys. He's going to be a volume touch guy. And I just think the productivity is going to obviously follow that. And then you got Juju. I mean, you can't go wrong with Juju, man. That's Mr. Consistency, steady Eddie right there, tough as nails. And he just loves the Pittsburgh atmosphere. And he's playing on a 1 year. So, extra motivation, baby. And shout out to James Washington, man. I like that. We're James Washington guys.
Sure.
We are, man. What are your thoughts on him, man?
Well, you're right. You cut those drops from whatever it was, 20 or 40 to 20. So right there, Deontay from last season, he's over 1,000 yards and he's over 100 receptions. I don't know how many drops Juju had, but he was at like 97 receptions. I think he was around 900 yards. But you add the 17th game in this season, there's a world where all three of them get over 1,000 yards.
Now, does that water down the product though of the 1,000 yards?
That's what I was gonna ask. What's the milestone now? Should it be 1,100?
Yeah, because I'm like, if I'm a running back, 1,000 yards isn't as glamorous. Or imagine Derrick Henry, right? Him getting 2,000 yards on the ground last year was crazy because he had to do it in 16 games. Now with guys having an extra game, we might see a couple of guys get to that 2,000 yard mark now in terms of being more frequent with it. So that's the part I'm ready to see that too, man.
Just imagine when it goes to 18.
Shit. I tell you what, man, if I had escalators in my contract right now, I'd be so happy.
It really sucks because to go from 3 digits, 900 to 1,000, that makes it the perfect milestone.
Mm-hmm.
To say, oh man, the milestone, what makes you good is 1,100. That sounds weird because baseball, it's when you hit 300.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And usually when it's the home runs, it's like 20, 30, 40 home run. Hockey, it's goals, 20, 30, 40. To go from 1,000 to 1,100, that doesn't sound right.
It doesn't.
Like, oh man, a successful season for a running back is 1,100. It's so much easier to just say 1,000.
Yeah, because 1,500 is going to be too gaudy. You can go 1,300 maybe.
1,250, dude. It's not right. It doesn't hit.
But I guess that's going to be the issue, though.
I guess we could stick with 1,000 because if you think of it, translate that to 16. That's still 920 yards that's still a good season.
No, it is. But now I can see though why like some of the older players, for example, they complain when we talk statistics and things. They're like, well, we only played 14 games. Y'all playing 16, or we only played this many games. Like you think of Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss.
Probably another way to put it, we only throw the ball this many times in a game.
Yeah. So like imagine 10 years from now when it's 17 or 18 games per year normally, and the receivers are putting up numbers and they're like, yo, his numbers are better than Moss's right now. This is crazy. And we're like, wait a minute.
That might only be receivers, though. I don't know if running backs are touching like Priest Holmes, Sean Alexander, Ricky Williams type years.
They could, though. I definitely think pass rushers are going to benefit.
Okay.
TJ Watt with an extra game. Come on, man.
What's the record? Is it 22 on the sacks?
22 and a half, straight hand.
Yeah. Oh, so JJ Watt didn't break it?
No. They've only come close to it. I don't think anyone's tied it either. Because Donald came close 1 year. JJ came close. Donald was at like 20 the 1 year.
Okay.
And I think JJ did 20 and a half.
Okay.
But yeah, 22 and a half is the record, man.
Yeah, that will definitely benefit pass rushers. You're right.
Yep.
That extra game. Yeah. And just with how the league's going. So it is a little bit of a different era. Yeah, Strahan to get 22 and a half back in, when was that? Early 2000s?
That was back when Favre was playing, because I was still high school, I think, when I saw that, man.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think they could be one of the best receiving groups, if not the best. I don't think it necessarily has to do with the drops. That's part of it. But I just think with how their games, one, they're young, and then just how their games are going to keep getting better and better as they age in the NFL. I think that's just a natural progression, in my opinion.
I like
Claypool was a rookie last year. Deontay was in his second season.
Crazy.
Juju's 24.
Yeah.
So last year we would put him in the top 10. That's with all these drops. So